gentlemen, it's been a real minute since I've done this. The last thing you seen of me was on the dirt bike, but that was just old footage from way back then. But we're back. We're on the R1, baby. We're in town. It's a shitty town, but we're in town. And I've got some things I want to speak about. Right? I'm having a bit of a shit day. It's been a shitty day so far, so I've had to come out on the bike. And I thought, fuck it, I'll stick the GoPro on and I'll start recording. So guess what, yeah? You haven't seen much of this bike, but I'm going to sell it. A few reasons why, and I'd love to talk you through them, which is what I'm going to do. First one being is, and none of you would notice because I haven't spoke to you in so long, but holy fuck, it's windy as dicks. Yeah, there's some mad storm going on at the minute, some storm fucking Andy or some bollocks like that. But yeah, you wouldn't know this, but I did crash this bike, which as you can see here, there's some leftover damage and whatnot. And there's also some more on the side, which you can't see because I'm obviously on it. But I did crash this bike here, which is unfortunate. And we are actually coming up to the roundabout where I crashed it, which is right there. I came off there and the bike landed way down there. Coming off that roundabout, 1 degree in the morning, slippy as fuck, back end went about there. And yep, I ate shit. Lesson learned, cold tyres, cold day, damp conditions, crazy sports bike. Yep. I'm saying I wasn't wearing my GoPro when it happened, because if I was, then you all would have seen it by now. But regardless, yeah, this bike's getting sold. And the question I want to ask today, the question I want to speak about, or I should say the topic I want to speak about is, can you get a super bike, sports bike, something sporty as fuck when you're 6'5"? Because I'm no idiot. I saw my reviews on the MT-07 about being big rider. They did pretty well, you know. Not just for me, but like for everyone involved, you know. Like, it's, if you are big, like, it's a really good educational video to watch before you get it. And obviously, I'm asking the question right now, can you fit on a bike, 6'5", maybe you're taller, maybe you're slightly smaller, can you fit on a sports bike when you're that height? And the obvious answer is yes, because I'm on one right now. But that doesn't necessarily mean I'm comfortable. Do you know what I fucking mean? I'm on it, I'm like moulded around it, my body's in a very unnatural position, and these are the things I want to chat about before you think about doing it. So I think the first thing I ought to say is, if you didn't know already, this is a 2004 R1, and regardless of R1 or not, the important thing I just said is the year, which is 2004, because I feel like it goes without saying that, I don't want to say this, but I'm going to say it, they don't make them like they used to, right? And I don't mean this is better than all the new bikes out there, because let's be honest, it's probably not. But what I mean by that is, they don't make them this big. For this bike, for what it is, a sports bike, it's quite big, yeah? It feels long, well, it is long. It feels wide, feels like I've got some weight between my legs. And I know the weight isn't necessarily what you want on a sports bike, but that's just, you know, one of them things, isn't it? So that's the important thing, 2004. If you are thinking about getting a bike like this, sports bike, lent over, very aggressive position, I would seriously consider you to look into a older bike, because you'll find that they have way more space. Say why I'm selling this bike is mainly the reason why I'm making this video, because I want to do longer distances, you know what I mean? Like this, it's good for, like, it's great at what it does. Jesus Christ, it's such a fun bike, but I'm sitting at 2 hours maximum for rider enjoyment, and that is, enjoyment is a loose term for that, because it feels like you're getting fucked in the arse, not in a good way. So 2 hours maximum, and I've got to get off. After an hour, it's pretty uncomfortable. You you know, hour and a half, that's like up to you whether you can just carry on going or not. It's not very pleasant at all. And then 2 hours I'm off the bike. Obviously you can be the same size as me, same weight as me, and you might be slightly different, because, you know, everyone is different, aren't they? Which is what I was going to lead on to say. There is a guy on YouTube who will like run up an animation of lots of different bikes, and he goes from like all the way from 5'1" to 6'4", and that's great, but you know, it still isn't quite what you want when you go and see it. Because the prime example is, so like I said, I'm selling this bike, or I'm going to be selling it pretty soon, and I'm in the market for something I can be in a lot longer. So my options are currently a Ducati Hyperstrada, maybe even a Ducati Monster, a Aprilia Tuono 660. Obviously I'm on a budget. The Tuono 660 is top end of my budget, because in an ideal world I'd just get an 1100 V4 Tuono, but you know, I don't fancy dropping 11 Gs on a bike right now. It's a bit crazy for me at the minute. So yeah, it's going to be a Hyperstrada, Tuono, or maybe even a Monster. I think the Monster might be out of the question, to be honest. So yeah, let's just speak about some of the things. Like, you buy this bike, let's speak about some of the things you're going to expect. And what I want to do is, I want to give you all, if you do try and ride something like this, and you're a big guy like me, long legs, I want to just give you all like a serious warning, because this is something I almost found out the hard way, very close to falling off and dropping it, is when you're doing slow maneuvers and you actually have to move the bars, what you'll find is your elbow starts hitting your knee, and then suddenly you're looking where you're going, and you've got it all planned out in your head, it's all going nice, and then suddenly the bar's locked, and it's very easy to panic and, you know, go off where you're not, especially if it's a tight turn and there's not much room for error. Very easy to just stumble over, and you know, people like me, it's easy to just put your foot down and hold the bike up, so that's not too bad. But if you're, you know, not very experienced, then maybe you would panic and you drop it, and it's not the end of the world dropping your bike, but if you can avoid it, then definitely avoid it. So that is the number one thing I would say. Get on it, yeah, just get comfortable with moving your knee out the way when you do a tight turn. Like, if you can see that, every time I'm doing a tight turn, my knee is cocked out, almost like I'm trying to scrape it. Because other than that, I can't physically turn the bars. Obviously when you're going like this, you're just counter steering, so that's fine. But yeah, when you're doing slow speed maneuvers, really just get on it when you're not going, and put a stand down, or get your friend to hold the bike up straight and just do a full lock either side. Wow, this road's bumpy. Do a full lock either side and just make sure you can get that shit done, because it might catch you out, yeah? We don't want that. So apart from that, which is probably the only reason why you might drop it or do something silly, because, you know, we're big guys, we've got big long legs, big strong yeah, we're big guys, you know, we've got strong legs, big feet, you know what I mean, easy to hold pretty much any bike up, so that's not an issue. But getting on it, like, what you're going to be able to expect, yeah? So let's run you through my stats, yeah? I'm 6'5", about 100 kilograms here or there, depending on the day. And for my size and weight, I'm pretty flexible, I'd say. And like I touched on before, I'm looking at 2 hours riding time maximum, until I've got to get off this bad boy, because yeah, I can't even walk after that. But then you could say, you know, like, that's for a purposeful ride. I was going to Lincoln and I was just sitting on the motorway 2 hours straight. Purposeful ride, yeah? But let's flip it on its back and say me and Geordie Boy go out, which we do, hopefully more often now he's just got another bike. You're not going for 2 hours straight, or at least me and him aren't. I don't know if you guys are like us or not, but you're not just going at it for 2 hours straight. We're stopping constantly, we're shooting the shit, we're laughing about the day's fucking events or how the ride's gone so far, you know, it's fucking amazing. And the hours soon go into, well, the 2 hours soon spill over to many more hours of enjoyment, and it's really good. So if you're doing just out for fun with your mates, and your mates aren't like hardcore, let's just go, like they don't mind stopping a bit and just having, you know, relaxing time, then you'll find something like this to be more than adequate. it's just for your purposeful rides, and that's what I'm trying to do a bit more of. I want to do some more long distance, maybe to nice trips to Wales, to Scotland, to Cornwall. And you could do it on this, but it gets to the point where you're so uncomfortable, you're just not enjoying the ride anymore. Because like now, I've been on it for maybe 20 minutes max, and you know, I'm absolutely fine. I'm talking to you guys, I'm relaxed, I'm calm, I'm hoping not to get run over on this blind corner, but I'm good, you know. I've not been on it for long enough to feel that fatigue. I mean, don't get me wrong, you can feel it straight away. It's not like a natural position for, I think, anyone to be in, no matter what size you are. But I can't really do it on this road, that'd be a bit suicidal. But when you do get to a suitable stretch of road, my days, don't matter, ignore everything I just said about being uncomfortable, it doesn't matter, yeah? It's fucking phenomenal to have a bike like this when you get a nice bit of road. So fast on the straights. I mean, this bike can outperform me. Like, I can't get the most out of this bike in the corners, but even still, with me on it, with my limited abilities, it's still extremely fun. I mean, on roads like this, probably, you know, I don't even know why I came down here, just because it's a bit more scenic. You know, this road's slightly too bumpy to enjoy it and a bit too narrow, but even still, I'm enjoying myself, just cruising. So yeah, anything I just said, ignore it. If you get on a stretch of road, I mean, this is what motorcycling is about for me. Even when you're not tanking it, you're just out in the elements, you know, you're free. It's just so relaxing. I might hear you ask, like, what are you going to feel when you get on this? Like, what's going to hurt? What's going to be okay? And what I might say, this could just be a me thing, but I feel like this would surprise a lot of people who've never even done any miles on a bike like this. A lot of people say the wrists hurt, but if you notice now, let me just wait for this car to go by. If you notice now, I'm kind of just sitting up how I would normally, and look at my hands on the bars. Nothing at all, you know, there's no weight on my wrist at all, and I think that's because we've got long, strong legs, yeah? Oh, that's a bump, in it. We've got long, strong legs, and if you look, you can't really see, but on my peg, I've got the ball of my foot on my peg, and it's like a constant natural leverage point. So that basically means that you're kind of holding your body up with your you know, your legs and your feet. So that means you're very free on the bars, you know, you don't have to really put much weight on the bars. So that's the one thing that I see people say, which isn't really an issue for me, or I feel like many others who would be my size. But then, you know, on the back of that, I feel like I would trade a bit of wrist pain to maybe get some less pains everywhere else, because you're going to feel it in your knees, you're going to feel it in your lower back, you're going to feel it in your fucking bumhole, you're going to feel it in a lot of places, because it's not a natural position for anyone my size to be in. Not a natural position at all. Yeah, so your knees are going to hurt a bit. Mine thankfully aren't too bad. And I say all this, it's very personal, but this is another thing that might just be me. So I can be on the bike now, and let's say, for example, I stop down here just to chill for 5 minutes, or if you come into a traffic light and you know, you got both legs down. What I find, yeah, and you guys would have to let me know if you've got a bike like this and you're similar size. What I find is sometimes my hip cramps up, and it's not the kind of cramp that you take lightly. It's the kind of cramp that's it's fucking unbearable, man. It makes you need to get off the bike and stop. Yeah, stay there, Miss Cooper, stay there. Yeah, it's the kind of it's not the cramp to be fucked with. It's the kind of cramp that you've got to seriously either get in a weird position on your bike, maybe just have your leg dangling down, or just pull over, you know, because shit's unbearable. And that'll just come from nowhere. That'll just be, oh, I'm fine, like now I'm comfortable as fuck. Let's say I stop at the lights coming up, and I put my feet on the ground and I put my feet back on the peg, and then suddenly I'm written off, you know, fucked up. So that's one thing you got to consider. But what we'll do is oh, fuck's sake, I didn't want to. Oh, these lights take fucking ages, man. So aids. Being this big, you know, it's all about how much you're willing to compromise your comfort and how you look, because like I said, I sat on a few other bikes like the Ducati Hyperstrada that, you know, you think that'd be a bit better, but honestly, man, that felt fucking terrible. Well, not terrible, but it just felt like I wasn't riding nothing. It felt like I went back to my 125 days. Like, he was dead skinny and light, and I just felt like I towered over it, whereas because you're on a bike like this and you're naturally leant over the bars, and it doesn't feel too bad because you're not obviously upright. But yeah, you shouldn't let it stop you though. Like, it's all about compromise, isn't it? You gotta, how much you're willing to sacrifice to ride a bike, you know? Because this is the only time in my life where I would maybe sacrifice a few inches of my height to be slightly smaller. Because man, being 6'5" is fucking amazing, bro, like for real. Wallahi, it's good. But mate, when I see like a normal sized person on a bike and everything's in proportion, like, and they're just having a much more comfortable time than I am, then yeah, I can't lie, I get a bit jealous. But that's the only time I get jealous, man. Other than that, I'd take this height any day of the week. Hopefully this light turns green before my bike sets on fire. But yeah, I want to kind of come to the conclusion of this video, because until I park up on a road somewhere and show you what how I actually fit, like, so you can physically see, and there's not too much I can say over then. It's a very personal thing, and you just got to get and sit on one. And even when you sit on one, take it with a pinch of salt, because when you've got all your kit on, you're surprisingly a lot bigger than you would be without it. Or maybe not surprisingly, but like these knee pads, and obviously depending on what you're wearing really, but yeah, you just got to take everything with a pinch of salt, even when you sit on it with your normal clothes on. But it'll give you a good idea anyway. Yeah, so I think I'm trying to sum up now, and then I'm going to say, like, if you want to get on a sports bike, yeah, and you're someone around the same size as me, I would seriously aim for the older style ones. They offer you the same amount of enjoyment, normally a hell of a lot cheaper as well, and they're just bigger and better. Alright boys, I got a phone call, yeah, so I totally forgot to summarize my thoughts, but here it is. So, big rider like me wants a sport bike, get an R1, get a 2004 R1, and I promise you will not regret it. But that's me for this one, boys. I don't know how this video is going to turn out, but catch you guys in the next one, whenever that may be. Deuces.